Hello everyone. أهلا بيكم في تعلم الإنجليزية. Learn English. So today a new topic and a new focus. النهارده هنتكلم على topic جديد بفوكس جديد. So we've talked about people before and today this is the second time we speak about people. So today we're going to speak about people's description. And we have talked about people's description before. اتكلمنا ازاي نوصف الناس قبل كده واتكلمنا على الوصف بتاع الأشخاص. And today is the second time to speak about the same thing. But المرة اللي فاتت لما اتكلمنا على people اتكلمنا على البيبل ازاي اوصف الابيرنس بتاع الناس وازاي اتكلم عنهم وان انا اوصف شكلهم. But today we're going to dig deep. النهارده هنتكلم بعمق اكتر شوية. So today we're going to speak about personalities. So describing people's characters. النهارده هنتكلم على الوصف بتاع الاشخاص when it comes to character not to appearance. So it's not what I see with my eyes, it's when I deal with people what the character is like. تعالوا مع بعض نبص بالتفصيل هنتعلم ايه النهارده. So to start with we're going to look at describing people's character, which is the vocabulary, the most important words that can help me describe people's characters. And we'll be looking at grammar as well. And for grammar we're going to speak about past simple versus present perfect. هنتكلم على الباست سمبل والبريزنت بيرفكت. اتكلمنا المره اللي فاتت على البريزنت بيرفكت بشكل مختصر. المره دي هنتكلم على البريزنت بيرفكت بشكل عام ونتكلم على كل اليوسجز بتاعته والفرق ما بينه ما بين الباست سمبل. And in the end we're going to look at skills. So for skills we're going to look at reading skill. So we're going to have reading in the end of the session. So let's start, and let's start with our idioms of the day. For those who are new or who don't remember, لو احنا مش فاكرين أو لسه أول مرة نتفرج, we're talking about idioms. And an idiom is an expression that we use, and we use it to sound more like native and to sound more natural. هو expression مش مرتبط بالمعنى الحرفي للكلمات. So it's like تعبير مجازي. So we use it to sound fluent. ده بيعلي الفلونسي بتاعه وبيعلي الطلاقة بتاعتي. So basically, let's look at our first idiom. الإيديومز بتاعتنا النهارده مرتبطة بشكل كبير بالpersonalities and people's description. So for the first idiom, we have culture venture. Culture venture. So the first idiom that we have, or the first expression, we can call a person a culture venture. لما بستخدم الإكسبريشن ده, we use culture venture to someone who loves culture, like art and music, literature, reading, books, stuff like that. So if you have somebody who likes to go to the theater, who likes to watch the cinema, or who likes to go to the cinema and watch films, who like to read books, so these people are into culture. So you can say my dad is a culture venture, which means my dad is interested in culture or he likes culture very much. Or you can say I'm not a cultural venture, so I don't know much about literature or music. Or you can tell someone, I have a friend who's a culture venture, which means I have a friend who knows a lot about music and art. So this is the first description for character, a culture venture. And we have another idiom which is also connected to characters, which is a smart cookie. A smart cookie. So we say a smart cookie for someone who is clever when he deals with tough situations. So it's not only a person who is smart. So we're talking about a person who can handle tough situations. الشخص اللي بيعرف يتعامل مع المواقف الصعبة. والشخص اللي ما بيبقاش عنده مشكلة وبيعرف يعدي المواقف الصعبة بسهولة is called a smart cookie. So I can say, I love my mom. She's a smart cookie, which means she's been through a lot of tough situations and she was able to go through without any problem. Or I can say, when I grow up, I want to be a smart cookie, which means when I grow up, I want to go through tough situations and handle them easily without any problem. So it's not about being smart only, it's about being smart and being able to handle tough situations. This is the second idiom that we have that can be used to describe people. So the first one is, yes, exactly. So the first one, like we said, is a culture venture, and the second one is smart cookie. Let's look at number 3. The third one is a fuddy-duddy. So the fuddy-duddy is the person who is old-fashioned and he uses out-of-date or extremely conservative. So he has out-of-date ideas. الشخص المتحفظ قوي أو old-fashioned is called fuddy-duddy. So I can say, I don't like these words that they use. I am a fuddy-duddy, which means أنا مش بحب التعبيرات المستخدمة اليومين دول. أنا شخص متحفظ جدا, so I am a fuddy-duddy. Or I can say, I don't like torn clothes. I don't like this shabby look clothes. I am a fuddy-duddy when it comes to clothes, which means I am old-fashioned when it comes to clothes. So fuddy-duddy means not following the new trends, and he has old-fashioned ideas and old-fashioned taste. So it's called a fuddy-duddy. So we have the culture venture, the smart cookie, and the fuddy-duddy. And the last one is know-it-all or Mr. Know-it-all. Know-it-all or Mr. Know-it-all, the person who seems to know everything to the level that annoys people. الشخص اللي بيظهر معرفته بكل حاجة لدرجة إن هو يضايقك. أو الشخص اللي زي ما بنقول بيحب يتفزلك. So we call it Mr. Know-it-all or Know-it-all. Or sometimes we call it Mr. Know-all without it. So we have the American expression know-it-all, and the British term is know-all. Okay, so I can say my friend is Mr. Know-it-all. He never says I don't know, which means he always tries to show his knowledge or to show that he knows everything. Or I can say, I know it, but I don't like to be Mr. Know-it-all. أنا عارف المعلومة بس مش بحب أظهر أو أبين المعلومة دي، أو مش بحب إن أنا أوري الناس إن أنا أعرف حاجات كتير. So it's called know-it-all. يبقى احنا كده عندنا 4 different expressions to describe people's personality. The fuddy-duddy, the smart cookie, yes, the culture venture, and know-it-all. Think about yourself, which one are you from these expressions? Which idiom would apply to you? Okay, بكده نبقى اتكلمنا على أهم الidioms أو أهم expressions that we can use when we describe people's personality. تعالوا نبص على vocab part ونشوف words that we can use and the words that can help me describe people around me when it comes to personality. Speaking about personality traits or description of people personality or character, كلمة personality character أو الوصف personality بتاع الشخص بنقول عليها personality traits. يبقى personality traits دي اللي هي الصفات اللي أقدر أوصف بيها الشخص أو أوصف بيها الكاركتر بتاع شخص ما. So we have lots of words that can describe a character. So for now we're going to look at each word and its opposite. هنبص على الكلمة وعكسها بحيث إن إحنا لما نيجي نعمل عليهم practice بعد كده يبقى عندي سهل إن أنا أشوف both sides of the picture. So let's start. The first one that we have is dishonest, which is the person who usually tells lies, or the opposite is honest, which is the person who is always telling the truth. So we have the first thing, الشخص الكذاب أو اللي مش واضح, we call dishonest. So dishonest is the negative personality. And the opposite is honest, which is the positive type of personality, الشخص الصادق أو الواضح. And we have selfish and generous. So selfish is the person who wants everything for himself only. He doesn't want to share with anybody. So the opposite is generous. يبقى selfish الشخص الأناني. And the opposite is generous. The generous person is the person who wants to give and wants to share with everybody around him. اللي هو الشخص الكريم. So we have selfish, generous, generous, generous. وأول sound ما بيبقاش ج, it's j, generous. Okay. We also have talkative, which is the person who talks all the time and never stops talking. And we have the opposite is quiet, which is the person who doesn't like to make noise or doesn't speak much. So talkative, رغاي. And the opposite is quiet. talkative, quiet. So talkative, we don't say the L in talk. So talkative, talkative. And we also have careless and careful. So if we're speaking about somebody who doesn't like to take care of anything and he spends his life without caring, it's called a careless person. And the opposite is the person who is responsible and he likes to take care of things that might happen. الشخص الحريص على الحاجات اللي ممكن تحصل، المهتم، is called a careful person. The next one is we have polite and impolite. So polite and impolite are two words that have lots of meanings. كلمة polite و impolite اللي هي مهذب أو غير مهذب, both of them have lots of meanings. Let's start with the first one, which is impolite, the negative word. It has the same meaning like rude or mean. يبقى أنا ممكن أقول impolite وممكن أقول rude وممكن أقول mean، التلاتة بنفس المعنى اللي هو شخص غير مهذب. And the opposite and the positive part is polite. Polite has the same meaning as decent or a nice person. So I can say he is polite, he is decent, or he is nice. The three of them have a very similar meaning, which is a nice person or شخص مهذب. And the next one is messy and tidy. So messy is when we speak about somebody who is not organized, الشخص الغير منظم, we call it messy, messy. But the opposite is tidy or neat. And when we speak about tidy or neat, اللي هو positive part, both of them are very similar, but one of them is more connected to the place around me. So when I say tidy, tidy is connected to the place around me, while neat is more connected to how I look, to my clothes and my appearance. يبقى أنا عندي tidy و neat, they refer to شخص منظم. So if منظم في هدومي أو شكل هدومي مهندم, it's called neat. And if I'm talking about the place around me, it's called tidy. So my room is tidy, but I can say he is a neat person. The next one that we have is stubborn, and the opposite is easygoing. Stubborn is the person who doesn't change his opinion easily. الشخص العنيد, we call it stubborn, stubborn, stubborn. And the opposite is easygoing, الشخص السلس. So he can discuss and listen to other people. So he is a person who's relaxed when it comes to his opinion. So he's not very rigid. ما بيبقاش متمسك برأيه ومتشدد برأيه. It's called easygoing. So we have stubborn, the opposite, easygoing. And we also have stupid or foolish versus intelligent or clever. So if we're talking about شخص مش ذكاؤه عالي, we can call it stupid or foolish. Stupid or foolish. And the opposite, الشخص الذكي, we can use more than one word. We have smart, we have clever, and we have intelligent. All three of them are the same. الشخص الذكي. And we also have lazy or playful, and the positive thing is hardworking. الشخص الليزي اللي هو الكسول أو اللعبي. So we can call it lazy or playful. And on the other side, الشخص المجتهد, we call it a hardworking person. So lazy, hardworking, or playful and hardworking. We also have a coward, and we have brave or fearless. A coward اللي هو الشخص الجبان. He doesn't like to face people or face his problems. Meanwhile, the brave person is not easily scared and he likes to face problems. He doesn't have a problem with this. So he doesn't get afraid easily. الشخص اللي ما بيخافش بسهولة. So we call it fearless or brave. While the person who's always afraid, who doesn't like to face his problems or face people, is called coward. Easily scared. Coward, coward. اتكلمنا على اهم الاوبوزيتس. تعالوا نشوف بقى الحاجات الصفات اللي مش دايما بيبقى لها opposite واضح. So the first one is shy. Shy, and shy means خجول. The person who's like doesn't like to speak much. Shy. And we have loyal. Loyal. Loyal اللي هو الشخص that he can support other people and he can be with you in your tough situations. اللي هو الشخص اللي عنده ولاء ليك. So it's called loyal. And we have bossy. Bossy. Bossy, a bossy person is a person who likes to control people around him or who always likes to give people orders. We call it a bossy person. الشخص اللي بيحب يتحكم في اللي حواليه is called bossy. And we have greedy. Greedy is the person who doesn't feel that anything ever is enough. I always want more. So this is called a greedy person اللي هو الطماع. So it's called greedy. Greedy. بكده نبقى اتكلمنا على أهم الكلمات that can help me describe any person's personality. Let's try to do some practice for that and let's see how we can use them in a sentence. Let's start. We have looked at the most important words that we can use to describe people's personality. بصينا على أهم الكلمات اللي ممكن نستخدمها عشان نوصف شخصية أو نوصف البرسوناليتي بتاعت شخص. So let's look at some more and let's do some exercise for that. So to start with, we have some words here. So let's look at them and see, did we discuss them before or not? So we have quiet, we talked about it before. Easygoing, we talked about it before. And then we have reliable. Reliable is the person that I can depend on. It's called reliable. شخص يعتمد عليه. So reliable, 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 reliable. So sensible, sensible. The sensible person is the person who uses his sense and uses his mind to judge. شخص عقلاني. So it's called sensible. Cheerful. A cheerful person is a person who's always smiling or always happy. Kind, same like nice person. Brave, we talked about it before. Patient, a patient person who has no problem to wait. شخص صبور, مش مستعجل على كل حاجة. So it's called patient, patient. And we have generous that we talked about before. Modest, modest. A modest person is the person that is not arrogant or a person that is humble. So شخص متواضع. Modest, modest. And we have neat that we talked about before. And we have witty, which is the same like smart. So we can say smart, intelligent, or witty. Okay, so this is the first group that we have. So we have the first group of words. And on the other side, we have selfish that we talked about before. Jealous, jealous, jealous الشخص الغيور. So it's jealous. Clumsy, clumsy. Clumsy, we talked about it before when we say that a person does not think of his action. شخص متهور or شخص ما بيفكرش في حركاته عموما. So it's called clumsy. Lazy. Boastful. Boastful. A boastful person is the opposite of modest. شخص مغرور أو حاسس بنفسه زيادة. So it's called boastful. Possessive. Possessive. So a possessive person is the person who likes to control other people. شخص بيحب يتحكم في الحاجة. Naughty. Naughty is the same like impolite. So we say impolite or naughty. And greedy that we talked about before. Absent-minded. Absent-minded is the person who does not concentrate or focus. الشخص اللي ما بيركزش. And hesitant. Hesitant. Hesitant is a person who doesn't take his decisions easily. الشخص اللي ما بيعرفش يقرر بسهولة أو متردد. It's called hesitant. Hesitant. And then touchy. touchy is the person which is very, very sensitive, oversensitive, or gets upset very quickly from anything. It's called touchy. And ruthless. Ruthless is the person who has no mercy. الشخص اللي مش رحيم أو ما عندوش رحمة. So it's called ruthless. Ruthless. So now we have two groups of words. So look at them and tell me which group is the positive group and which group is the negative group. So we have the group of quiet, easygoing and reliable, and the other group for selfish, jealous and clumsy. What do you think? So if we're talking about a reliable person, a quiet or patient person, these are the positive descriptions. And if we're talking about selfish or clumsy, these are the words that we use for negative description. يبقى أنا عندي ال adjectives when I describe people's personality مش لازم حتى يبقوا عكس، بس I can use it to describe something positive or something negative. Now let's think of, or let's read the definitions and try to think of a word that can be suitable for this definition. So when we have someone who is slow to act because they feel uncertain, they are not sure what to do. So the person who's slow to act and he needs to think a lot before he takes a decision is called, yes, so this is hesitant, a hesitant person. Okay? Someone who can be trusted to do something well, somebody that you can depend on. This is called, yes, so this is reliable, reliable. A reliable person, when you tell him something, he does it well. And then we have generous, which is someone who is willing to give money and willing to help people. So it's called generous. Let's look at number 4. So we have someone who always wants more than they need. I want more and more and more. What I have is never enough. This is called, yes, exactly. So a greedy person. Okay, someone who thinks of their own advantage. I think of myself only and I don't think of others. So I become before anyone. So this is a selfish person, selfish. Someone who's easily offended or upset. The person that you talk to, he gets very angry and easily offended. The person that is oversensitive is touchy, touchy. And we have someone who is relaxed and not easily upset or worried. So the person who doesn't get upset quickly and he can discuss his opinions is an easygoing person. Easygoing, شخص سلس. Okay, and now someone who likes to keep things tidy and in order. This is a neat person because we're talking about things around him. And we have someone who behaves badly and is not willing to obey, who doesn't listen to others. This is, yes, so a naughty person. I don't listen to instructions, I don't follow the orders, I don't listen to my mom. So this is naughty. And we have someone who is helpful, friendly, and cares about others. This is, yes, a kind person. And someone who's not willing to work or use effort. He likes just to sit down and do nothing. This is a lazy person. And when we have someone who moves or does things in a very awkward way, moves a lot, drops things, this is clumsy. Clumsy, well done. And someone who is able to use words in a clever and funny way. So the person who is smart and funny, this is witty. So witty is the person who is smart and funny at the same time. So by this, we have looked at personality traits, how to describe how to use adjectives actually to describe people's personality. طيب تعالوا مع بعض نشوف لو أنا هتكلم على الأشخاص عموما. And when I describe people, we usually describe people when we speak about them. يعني أنا بوصف الشخص لما باجي أتكلم عنه. which means that I speak about situations that happened between me and the person. يعني أنا لما هاجي أتكلم عن حد بتكلم على مواقف حصلت بيني وبينه، وده اللي بيخليني أعرف the type of personality. أنا بحكم على type of personality من معاملتي مع الشخص. So this means that we have history together, and based on this I can talk about the personality traits. طيب speaking about this history, things that already happened، ايه الجرامر اللي ممكن يساعدني ان انا اعمل ده؟ So if we're talking about things that happened with someone, we're talking about things that are finished. So basically we're talking about past. So for this today we're going to look at past. بس النهارده مش هنتكلم على الباست بس، لان احنا اتكلمنا على الباست كذا مره. Today we're going to look at past with something else which is called present perfect. احنا اتكلمنا على present perfect مره قبل كده، بس اتكلمنا عنه كلايف اكسبيرينس بس. النهارده هنتكلم على present perfect بكل الاسبكتس بتاعته، and we're going to look at the difference between past simple and present perfect. So let's have a look here. We have past simple and we have present perfect. لو هنتكلم على الفورم عموما، لو الفورمات بتاعهم احنا اوريدي عارفين الفورمات، فكويك ريفيجن على الفورمات. الفورمات بتاع الباست سمبل هو verb and ed. So I just take the verb, add ed, I switched it to the past. Versus the present perfect، الفورمات بتاعه أنا عندي two different verbs in the sentence. عندي helping verb و main verb في السنتنس. يبقى الباست simple هي verb واحد بس. It's just one verb and this verb we add ed to it, or it's irregular, so it's the second column or the second conjugation of the verb. زي worked or ate، مرة حطيت ed ومرة كان irregular، بس عموما هما second conjugation. Meanwhile present perfect we're talking about two different verbs. Helping verb اللي هو have or has depending on subject, and the verb in the third participle form. أحيانا هيبقى ب ed وأحيانا هيبقى irregular، or عموما in general we're talking about the past participle. يعني أنا لو عندي كلمة زي كلمة work هتبقى worked عادي، بس eat ال past participle بتاعها is eaten. يبقى أنا عندي simple past eat، ال past participle eaten. ده لو بنتكلم في الفورم بشكل عام على السنتنس. So the affirmative form two verbs one verb. So two verbs for present perfect and one verb for the past simple. Let's look now at the negative. So the negative, if we're talking about simple past, for the negative here we have did not, and after this we have the infinitive verb. يعني أنا في السنتنس كان already عندي one verb. لما جيت أعمل negative، إحنا عموما لما هنعمل negative لأي tense we need two different verbs, help and main. So because the original sentence for past simple had only one verb, she ate or she worked yesterday، يبقى أنا هنا هحتاج الهلب من do، وبما إن إحنا بنتكلم على الباست فدو دي هتبقى did، فالhelping verb بتاعي هيبقى did. So for negative did not وبعد did it's infinitive. Did not work or did not eat. So for negative we have did followed by infinitive. If we're talking about present perfect, it's different. So for present perfect here, the sentence already had two different verbs. So لما هاجي هعمل negative, I don't need to do much work because the sentence already has two verbs. So have or has and not. بس unlike the simple past, after have or has بيفضل المين verb في third form. So في participle form. يعني بعد have or has هتفضل eaten زي ما هي، مش هترجع infinitive. So in negative for present perfect there is no infinitive. Here for past simple we have infinitive. And we have the question or interrogative form. So we start the question again with helping verb that we didn't have in the original sentence. يبقى احنا هنا لسه بنستخدم did زي ما احنا. But here we already have or has, so it's have or has. وزي ما اتكلمنا after did على طول infinitive يبقى after did here did you work the main verb in infinitive or did she eat so the main verb is in infinitive بس هنا no infinitive after have or has we don't put an infinitive so the verb or the main verb keeps its conjugation so it stays in the third participle form which is have you worked so not worked or has she eaten burgers so no infinitives for present perfect not in the sentence not in the negative not in the question past simple infinitive in negative and questions only اوكي يبقى ده بالنسبه للفورمات انا شفت الفورم بالنسبه للpresent simple للpresent perfect and the form for the past simple يبقى انا بصيت على الفورم بتاع الاثنين طيب بالنسبه للمينينج بتاع الاثنين it's not the same so the meaning for both is different when it comes to are we talking about something that happened in the past and finished with no connection to now ولا something that happened in the past and finished yes but it's connected to now يعني ايه يعني انا عندي هنا two different tenses واحد اسمه past هو اسمه past the meaning of past something finished يعني حاجة already completed in the past خلاص done and the meaning of the present perfect it's something happened in the past بس أنا بسميه present هو اسمه حتى present so إزاي حاجة حصلت in the past وبسميها present because we have two parts for this tense ال present perfect هو عنده two ideas هو present بس perfect طب هو يعني إيه كلمة perfect؟ كلمة perfect in general بعيدا عن التنس حتى لما بقول my friend or my mother is perfect what do you mean by the word perfect? Perfect means complete مش ناقصها حاجة so a perfect person is a complete person so if I am talking about a perfect tense it is complete so how is it present and how is it complete because in this tense we have two different aspects we have an action and we have time تعالوا مع بعض نبص ازاي هنعمل ده وازاي بتكلم على الاكشن واتكلم على التايم اوكي تعالوا مع بعض زي ما قلنا نشوف هو يعني ايه part finished و part مش finished when it comes to present perfect احنا we established the idea او احنا حطينا الايديا واضحة جدا when it comes to past simple it's completely done هو حاجة خلصت بشكل كامل طيب ال present perfect it's different ليه؟ لأن أنا عندي التنس هو عبارة عن two things I have the idea of action in time هو action بيحصل في وقت معين so we have action and we have time if we're talking about past simple so it's a finished action in a finished time which means I traveled last year so I traveled last year الأكشن هو travel finished and the time is last year also finished so I'm talking about a complete action in a complete time so for present perfect it's not the same past simple time is complete and action is complete so finished time finished action ده past simple so past simple finished action finished time لكن ال present perfect عندي part من الاتنين مش complete so incomplete action or incomplete time بمعنى ايه؟ بمعنى ان احنا عندنا ال two aspects اهي بتاعت التنس وعشان كده هو اسمه present perfect هو في حاجة complete وحاجة لسه in the present طيب what do you mean by this? We can have a complete action so the action is complete but incomplete time يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ when we speak about this month لو هتكلم على الشهر ده this month is not complete it started but did not finish هو بدأ بس لسه ما خلصش unlike last month started and finished. فده finished time, complete time. بس if I'm talking about this month, الشهر بدأ بس ما خلصش. Or when we talk about this year started بس احنا لسه في نفس السنة ما خلصتش. Unlike when I speak about 2000 بدأت وخلصت خلاص. بس this year no. يبقى أنا عندي في حاجات التايم ما بيبقاش over. So if I am talking about this year I have traveled 2 times. أنا سافرت مرتين فعليا. So the travel, when I say travel, the action is complete. So travel complete, but the year not complete. So a complete action in complete time, this is present perfect. So this is how we think about it. يبقى أنا ال present perfect عندي هو حاجة already done زي ال past simple، حاجة already done بس time is still not finished. يبقى أنا عندي finished action in incomplete time. So it's present perfect. So يبقى أنا كده عندي ال present perfect دي ال first idea فيه. طيب ال second idea ممكن يكون complete time بس incomplete action. So something that is still fresh or it still has effect up till now, which means recent things. يعني أنا لو هتكلم على حاجة لسه حاصلة fresh، حاجة لسه التأثير بتاعها موجود لغاية دلوقتي، so still we're using yes present perfect. So present perfect here is used for things that are finished but the effect is still with me up till now. إزاي يعني؟ يعني for example if I am talking about if I come to the class or if I come to you and I tell you I am tired. Why? I have played football. So أنا لسه لغاية دلوقتي tired. ال playing خلص but the effect بتاع this playing is still happening and still here. So the effect is still fresh. The effect of the action is continuing with me up till now. It's different from I played football last month. مفيش أي effect وأنا مش تعبان ومش حاسس بأي حاجة. So present perfect is attached to now. It's attached to the present time but the actions are not. يعني هو مربوط بالpresent time بس الأكشن نفسه خلصان. الأكشن بقى مربوط بدلوقتي بإن هو ليه effect دلوقتي، أو مربوط بدلوقتي بإن التايم نفسه لسه ما خلصش although الأكشن is over. So if I am talking the most famous thing is life experiences. إحنا ليه لما جينا اتكلمنا المرة اللي فاتت على life experiences قلنا إن إحنا دايما هنتكلم على present perfect because my life is a time period, which means إن أنا دلوقتي حياتي هي time period started but not finished. فthats why الأكشن خلص بس حياتي is not over. My life is not over. And that's why when we speak about life experiences, complete action in complete time. My life is not over. So that's why we use present perfect for the same. يبقى عشان كده لما هنيجي نتكلم على ال past simple هي it's all finished. بس لما هاجي اتكلم على present perfect it's connected مربوط بدلوقتي. بالإيه؟ بالidea of time. time بتاعه الحاجة لسه حاصلة connected to now. That's why we call it present. تعالوا نعمل مع بعض practice بالنسبة للsame idea ونشوف ايه التايم expressions اللي ممكن تنفعني ان انا اتكلم على past simple وازاي اتكلم على present perfect. زي ما شفنا common meaning أو general meaning بتاع present perfect, let's see the common words that we can use for the present perfect and the common words that we usually use for the past simple. Okay, let's start and let's look at the first one if we're talking about past simple. So for past simple احنا قلنا complete action in complete time. فايه الexpression اللي بتديني الidea بتاعت complete time؟ الexpressions اللي ممكن استخدمها وتديني الidea بتاع complete time هي things like yesterday, in a specific year, last بكل أشكالها. So last night, last Monday, last month, last year, all lasts. And we have the idea of ago, like 5 years ago, 8 years ago. So the idea of ago. And the day before yesterday, when I was a child, and when I was born, a specific time in the past. Meanwhile, for the present perfect, we have time expressions that can be used like just عشان نتكلم على حاجة لسه يدوب حاصلة. And that's why it has effect. يبقى أنا هقول I have just played football. So it has just finished a recent action that the effect is still there. Ever, which means in your life, and your life is open period, so ever, already, something that happened, never, still talking about my life, which is a period, since and for, ودول في مرة هنتكلم عليهم بالتفصيل, up till now, which is something started in the past and continues to now, طالما up till now, طالما now موجود, it's present perfect. Yet, which means from the past to now it's still, so yet. Until now, وزيها زي up to now بالظبط. So far, which means لحد دلوقتي. So, if we're talking about now again, it's present perfect and this month. So, the idea of this in general, this month, this year, this season, which means the month and the year and the season are not over yet. So the idea of open time period. Okay. خلينا نوصل لآخر part عندنا النهاردة وهو البارت بتاع reading. And let's start reading about people's personalities and see how we can speak more about people's personalities. عندي حد بيتكلم what is my classmates like. حد بيوصف أصحابه. وهنا هنعمل merge ما بين اللي احنا خدناه قبل كده واللي احنا خدناه النهارده اللي هو ال appearance and personality. يبقى أنا هعمل full description للperson. So how to describe his personality and how to describe his appearance. So the first classmate that he has, we have, hi, let me introduce you to my classmates. Her name is Melissa and she's 11 years old. She's got long wavy red hair. So long wavy red hair. The appearance or the personality? This is appearance. So she's got long wavy red hair, big brown eyes. Big brown eyes, appearance or personality? So this is again appearance. So anything that I can see with my eyes, it's appearance. And lots of freckles and on her cheeks. She's short and slim. And she's very friendly and helpful. She's very optimistic too. So when I say friendly, when I say helpful or optimistic, أنا هعرف الشخص ده friendly لما أشوفه ولا لما أتعامل معاه. So it's by dealing with the person. That's why friendly, optimistic or helpful. Now we're not talking about appearance. We're talking about personality. She sees the bright side of everything and everyone. I couldn't have found a better classmate to sit next to me in class. So here we're talking about a person and we're describing the person both in appearance and personality. خلينا نشوف another description and see what's for appearance, what's for personality. So this is the second person that he's describing and he's saying Mark is 11 years old and he always sits next to me in English lessons. He's got short, straight brown hair. Short, straight brown hair, this is appearance because I can see it with my eyes. من غير ما يتكلم هعرف إن هو شعره بني. And small light brown eyes. Again, this is another thing for appearance. He's short and slim. So if I'm describing the body, this is appearance. He's very kind boy and extremely practical and adventurous. لو هتكلم على adventurous, kind or practical, أنا هبص على شخص من أول ما هشوفه هعرف هو عملي. No. So this is a personality. I need to deal with the person to know. You never get bored when he's around. So now when we describe a person, we need both. we need appearance and we need personality. لو هتكلم على البرسوناليتي يبقى أنا محتاج إن أنا أوصف المواقف اللي حصلت بينا اللي خلتني أتكلم على البرسوناليتي بتاعته. وعشان أعمل ده I need the present perfect tense and the past simple tense. يبقى بكده احنا النهارده اتكلمنا على كل الحاجات اللي ممكن تسمح لي إن أنا أوصف شخص بالتفصيل. Before we've talked about physical appearance, and today we've talked about personalities, we've talked about present perfect tense, and we've talked about past simple tense that will allow me to describe situations that happen between me and a person and can help me describe the personality. بكده نبقى وصلنا لنهاية حلقتنا النهاردة. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.